9. I can't believe I'm actually staying on top of something for once. It's really hard to do Vlogtober, by the way. Anyways, so today is Vlogtober day 9, and it's actually favorite Halloween candy. My favorite Halloween candy is actually candy corn. I love candy corn, like, oh my gosh, I love it so freaking much. Anywho, so here are some submissions of viewers' favorite candies. So yeah, thank you guys so much for submitting. I really appreciate it. I love when viewers are like super active and stuff. But yeah, anywho, hopefully kind of participate in the vlogs. It's really fun and I love it when like I get feedback and stuff. It's like really rewarding. Anywho, enough about me. I also, just because this video is going to be like really freaking short, I just want to talk a little bit about some really cool things I found out about Halloween. Okay, so I'm going to read to you a little bit about the superstitions of Halloween and how they came to be, which I found really interesting. The article that I'm going to read from is from livescience.com, and I will post the link below. Okay, so black cats. Here's one of the superstitions. Often used as symbols of bad luck, black cats grace many Halloween decorations. The black cat's bad reputation dates back to the Dark Ages when witch hunts were commonplace. Elderly solitary women were often accused of witchcraft, and their pet cats were said to be their familiars, or demonic animals that had been given to them by the devil. Another medieval myth told that Satan turned himself into a cat when socializing with witches. But nowadays, black cats aren't synonymous with bad luck and mischief everywhere. In Ireland, Scotland, and England, it's considered good luck for a black cat to cross your path. Okay, so the next one is Jack-o'-lanterns, which I love carving pumpkins and stuff. I suck at it, but I love it. A fun fall activity, carving jack-o'-lantern, actually has its roots in a sinister, tragic fable. Celtic folklore tells the tale of a drunken farmer named Jack who tried to trick the devil, but his trickery resulted in him being turned away from both the gates of heaven and hell after he died. Having no choice but to wander around the darkness of purgatory, Jack made a lantern from a turnip and a burning lump of coal that the devil had tossed him from hell. Jack, the story goes, used the lantern to guide his lost soul. As such, the Celts believed that placing jack-o'-lanterns outside would help guide lost spirits home when they wander the streets on Halloween. Originally made using a hollowed-out turnip with a small candle inside, jack-o'-lanterns' frightening carved faces also served to scare evil spirits away. When the Irish potato famine of 1846 forced Irish families to flee to North America, the tradition came with them. Since turnips were hard to come by in the States at the time, pumpkins were used as a substitute. Bats. Medieval folklore also described bats as witches, familiars, and seeing a bat on Halloween was considered to be quite an ominous sign. One myth was that if a bat was spotted flying around one's house 3 times, it means that someone in the house would soon die. Another myth was that if a bat flew into your house on Halloween, it was a sign that your house was haunted because ghosts had let the bat come in. Spiders. I hate spiders. I really hate them. A common source of fear, definitely. Spiders make for creepy, crawly Halloween staples. They join the ranks of bats and black cats in folklore as being evil companions of witches during medieval times. One superstition held that if a spider falls into a candle-lit lamp and is consumed by the flame, witches are nearby. And if you spot a spider on Halloween, goes another superstition, it means that the spirit of a deceased loved one is watching over you. Creepy. Witches. The stereotypical image of the haggard witch with a pointy black hat and a warty nose stirring a magical potion in her cauldron actually stems from a pagan goddess known as the crone, who was honored during the Samhain. The crone was also known as the Old One and the Earth Mother, who symbolized wisdom, change, and the turning of the seasons. Today, the kind, all-knowing old crone has morphed into a menacing, cackling witch. Cauldrons. The pagan Celts believed that after death, all souls went into the crone's cauldron, which symbolized all Earth Mother's womb. Therefore, the souls awaited reincarnation as the goddess stirring allowed for new souls to enter the cauldron and old souls to be reborn. That image of the cauldron of life has now been replaced by the steaming, bubbling, ominous broom, the witch's broomstick. The witch's broomstick is another superstition that has its roots in medieval myths. The elderly, introverted women that were accused of witchcraft were often poor and could not afford horses, so they navigated through the woods on foot with the help of walking sticks, which were sometimes substituted by brooms. English folklore tells that during nighttime ceremonies, witches rubbed a flying potion on their bodies, closed their eyes, and felt as though they were flying. The hallucinogenic ointment, which caused numbness, rapid heart beating, and confusion, gave them the illusion that they were soaring through the sky. Trick-or-treating costumes. In olden times, it was believed that during the Samhain, the veil between our world and the spirit world was the thinnest, and that the ghosts of the deceased would mingle with the living. The superstition was that the visiting ghosts could disguise themselves in human form, such as a beggar, and knock on your door during the Samhain, asking for money or food. If you turned them away empty-handed, you risked receiving the wrath of the spirit and being cursed or haunted. Another Celtic myth, dressing up as a ghoul would fool the evil spirits into thinking that you were one of them so that they would not try to take your soul. In the US, trick-or-treating became a customary Halloween tradition around the late 1950s, after it was brought over by the Irish immigrants in the early 1900s. Wow, only 1950. Halloween is fairly new. Halloween colors. The traditional colors are orange. The traditional Halloween colors of orange and black actually stem from the pagan celebration of autumn and the harvest, with orange symbolizing the colors of the crops and turning leaves, while black marks the death of summer and the changing season. Over time, green, purple, and yellow have also been introduced into the color scheme of Halloween decoration. Mischief Night. From some namely troublesome teenagers, Halloween is also a time for neighborhood pranks, from egging and toilet papering houses to smashing jack-o'-lanterns. Devil's Night can be full of mischief and menace. The ancient Celts celebrated with bonfires, games, and comical pranks. By the 1920s and 30s, however, the celebrations became more rowdy, with rising acts of vandalism, possibly due to the tension caused by the Great Depression, according to Jack Santel's Halloween and Other Festivals of Death and Life. To curb the vandalism, adults began to hand out candy, reigniting the forgotten tradition of trick-or-treating in costume in exchange for sweets. This successfully replaced most of the mischief elements from October 31st celebrations, so the troublemakers instead adopted October 30th as their official night to pull the pranks and wreak havoc. I didn't even know about Mischief Night. Huh. Candy apples. Candy apples are popular Halloween treats, and the sugary fruit on the stick was handed out during the early days of trick-or-treating in North America, before concerns over unwrapped candy became an issue. Today, candy apples can be covered in caramel or chocolate with nuts, as well as the classic shiny red syrup. The fusion of Celtic and Roman traditions is behind Halloween's candy apple staple. Samhain was around the time of the Roman festival honoring Panoma, the goddess of fruit trees. The goddess is often symbolized by an apple, so the fruit became synonymous with Samhain celebrations of the harvest. I gotta learn how to say that word. Okay, so it's actually pronounced Samhain, S-A-H-W-I-N. So now I know. Samhain. Bobbing for apples. In ancient times, the apple was viewed as a sacred fruit that could be used to predict the future. Bobbing for apples is one of the traditional games used for fortune telling on Halloween night. It was believed that the first person to pluck an apple from the water-filled bucket without using their hands would be the first to marry. If the bobber lucked out and caught an apple on the first try, it meant that they would experience true love, while those who got an apple after many tries would be fickle in their romantic endeavors. Another myth was that if a girl put her bobbed apple under her pillow on Halloween night, she would dream about her future husband. It's pretty funny. Candy corn, which is my favorite Halloween candy. The candy most synonymous with Halloween, candy corn was invented in the late 1800s and began to be mass-produced in the early 1900s. The original process for making candy corn was cumbersome and time-consuming, as each color of syrup had to be heated up in large vats and carefully poured by hand into specially shaped molds. but the yellow, orange, and white candy meant to resemble a corn kernel was a huge hit and remains to be a popular part of Halloween to this day. So yeah guys, so that was my countdown kind of thing of the 13 superstitions of Halloween, and also my favorite Halloween candy. Again, thank you for the submissions. Tomorrow is a baby photo shoot, so send in your pictures of your babies on Halloween, or pictures that you just recently taken of them on Halloween. It doesn't have to be on Halloween, it could just be Halloween themed, like with pumpkins, candy, all that stuff. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. And if you do want to send in pictures, you can send it into my Facebook fan page, which I always post the links below, or you can use the hashtag on Instagram, Cliche Vlogtober. Alright guys, thanks, bye!